Hello, Mrs. Findlay here. So we're on our last lesson of the week now, Friday's lesson. We're going to recap what we've done during the week. So let's get on looking at the starters then. We've got 2 algebra questions. The first one's simplifying by collecting like terms, and the second one is substitution. So if you know what you're doing, bash on with it, pause the video, and then just forward to the answers and check that you're right. If you need a bit of help, stick around. So, first question, we're simplifying. So what we need to do is collect the x's together and collect the y's together. So, in the x's, if we have a look, we've got 3x here, we've got 2x there, and we've got minus an x there. So all together there, we've got 3x, add 2x, take away 1x, so 3 and 2 is 5, take away 1 is 4. So all together there, we've got 4x. And then if we have a look at the y's now, then, change colour there. So if we look at the y's, we've got plus 5y there, take away 3y there. So add 5 of something, take 3 of it away, you're left with 2 of it, aren't you? Positive 2y. So that's the answer there, 4x plus 2y. Okay, on to the second question. If x is 2 and y is 10, what's the value of 2x plus 3y? So 2x plus 3y. Don't forget that what this means is 2 times x plus 3 times y. And you can see here why we write x's not just as a cross, okay? Because we need to know that that means times and that means x. Okay, anyway, so what we're doing is we're just substituting. So basically what we do is we swap out the x's for 2's and the y's for 10's. Okay, so in this, we're going to take out the x here and we're going to put a 2 instead. And we're going to take out the y and put a 10 instead. Okay, so now I've got 2 times 2, add 3 times 10. But don't forget about BODMAS. So these multiplications have to happen before they're added together. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 10 is 30, so the answer is 34. Okay, so well done if you got that right. So let's recap this week's work then. So the first job is to look at adding and subtracting amounts of money. So we're just going to work through what we've done, do an example or 2 in each section, and then you'll be able to get on with the practice work. Okay, so adding and subtracting amounts of money. So for example, if we've got £3.15, add £28 and 7 pence, then remember it's probably easier to put the bigger number at the top and the smaller number underneath, but what you need to make sure you're doing is getting your decimal points underneath each other here. That's very important, and then you know that all your digits are in the right places. So adding up, 7 add 5 is 12, 0 add 1, add the 1 at the bottom is 2, keep your points in line when you're adding, 8 add 3 is 11, and 2 add 1 is 3. So our answer, remember the pound sign, is £31 and 22 pence. Okay, we'll probably come across it later on anyway, but remember, if you do a calculation and for example you get the answer 21.6 and it's supposed to be money, remember what that means is £21 and 60, because remember 21.6 means exactly the same as 21.60 or 21.600 or 21.600, as many zeros as you like, okay? What it's not the same as is 21.06. If you've got 21.6, you cannot change it into money by saying that it's £21 and 6 pence. That's not the case, because the 6 has to follow the decimal point here, and if you stick that 0 in there, you're making the 6 mean the wrong amount. Okay, so just be careful and follow this strategy here, that after the decimal point you can add zeros because it doesn't change the size of the number. Okay, All right, next one, multiplying and dividing amounts of money. I'll tell you what, we didn't do a subtraction, but do you think we've done enough subtractions this week? Just remember when you're subtracting, so like for example, £30 and 2 pence, take away £14 and 68. Remember, when you're borrowing, you can only borrow from your next door neighbour. So this 2 isn't enough to subtract 8 from, so we need to borrow, but there's nothing there. So they have to borrow from their neighbour and they have to borrow from their neighbour. So this person here lends 1 to next door, this person lends 1 to next door, and this person lends 1 to next door. So now we can do all the subtracting. Okay, might as well just finish it off because it'll take a matter of seconds. So 12 take away 8 is 4, 9 take away 6 is 3, 9 take away 4 is 5, and 2 take away 1 is 1. Okay, so that was just a wee point about your borrowing. Okay, right, so multiplying and dividing. So let's say we've got £3.98 and we want to multiply that by 5. Then we just do it as a normal multiplication, set it out as a chimney sum. 8 fives are 40, 9 fives are 45, add the 4, makes 49. 3 fives are 15, add the 4, makes 19. Then to work out where the decimal point goes, count the number of decimal places in the question is 2. We need the same number of decimal places in the answer. So that's where the point has to go. So the answer would be £19.90. Right, when we're dividing, we're going to do 2 dividing examples. So we're going to do £2.55 divided by 5. So £2.55 divided by 5. 5 into 2 doesn't go, so we need a 0 there. Carry the 2. Remember, when you're dividing, you keep the points in line. 5 into 25 goes 5 times with nothing to carry over, and 5 into 5 goes once. So the answer to that question is £0.51 or 51 pence. All right, now, if you've got, for example, £241 divided by 4. Now, 241 is an odd number, so 4 does not go into 241, so we'll have to be a bit tricky when we do our dividing. So 241 divided by 4. All right, so 4 into 2 doesn't go, so carry the 2, and you can stick your 0 there if you like. 4 into 24 goes 6 times exactly. 4 into 1 goes no times, carry 1. But hang on a minute, because there's nothing to carry that 1 onto. So remember, what we need to do is remember that 241 could be written as 241.00. Okay, so you keep your points in line. Now 4 into 10 goes twice, remainder 2. And 4 into 20 goes 5 times. So the answer to that one is £60.25. So although we started off with something that didn't have any decimal places, the answer has 2 decimal places. Okay, right. Now, using rounding to estimate answers to money questions next. So, this is basically just saying, for example, if you've got £2.85 and £17.13 add £49.63, then rather than working that out exactly and writing it out as a big chimney sum, sometimes you're asked to estimate. So we're going to estimate this answer using rounding, okay? So each of these amounts, we're going to round them to the nearest whole pound, okay? So something that you've probably not seen in maths before is a squiggly equals, okay? And what a squiggly equals sign means is almost equal to, it's roughly equal to, okay? So we can use that when we've made things a little bit less accurate, okay? So if we round each of these amounts to the nearest pound, we've got £2.85, so that nearest pound, remember, you're looking at the first number after the decimal point to tell you whether you're rounding up or down. So the way that I showed you that the other day was find the number that you're rounding to. So if we're rounding to the nearest pound, that's your pounds digit there. Okay, and then you look at the next number along, and if that is 0 to 4, you round down, and if it's 5 to 9, you round up. Okay, when you're rounding down, you just leave it as it is. So this 8 tells us we need to round the 2 up, so that moves it up to a 3. So that gives us £3. £17 and 13 pence. Well, 7 is the pounds digit, isn't it? And the 1 belongs to this group here. So that tells us to leave the 7 as it is. So that's £17. And then the third one, £49.63. The 9 is the pounds digit. The 6 belongs to this group. So we need to round the 9 up. Okay? But we can't say it's 410. That doesn't make sense. So if we're rounding 9 up, it moves it on to 50, doesn't it? The next whole pound up from £49 is £50. Okay? So now we can use a proper equals because we're working out the actual answer to this. So £3 and £17 is £20. Add the £50, makes £70 altogether. Okay? So our estimated answer for that question is £70. Okay, so if a question says estimate an answer or round to the nearest pound to estimate an answer, don't work it out exactly because you won't get the marks for that. If the question's asking you to round and estimate, then that's what you should be doing. Okay, all right, on we go then. So the last thing we looked at this week was some wordy questions. So we're going to look at each of these. Okay, so the first question. Emma saves £3.50 each week. How much has she saved after 11 weeks? So we need to have a think about that. We need to work out what kind of a calculation it is that we need to do. Okay, so £3.50 each week for 11 weeks. So we're going to need £3.50 times 11, aren't we? So £3.50 times 11. Okay, so 0 times 11 is 0. 5 times 11 is 55, so write down the 5 and carry 5. 3 11s are 33. Add the 5, makes 38. And then if we have a look, we've got 2 decimal places in the question, so we're going to need 2 decimal places in the answer. So the decimal point has to go there. And this very quickly is the answer. So if she saves £3.50 each week, after 11 weeks, she will have £38.50. Okay, right, next one. For her restaurant meal, Jenny has ordered garlic bread at £3.59, chicken fajitas at £11.99, strawberry ice cream sundae at £4.89. Will the £20 note she brought cover the cost? So we need to work that out, don't we? So this one sort of doesn't need to be an estimate. This one needs to be working it out because we need to know if she's got enough. Okay, so we're going to add up our £3.59 and £11.99 and £4.89. Now, some of you can possibly do this in your head anyway because of the 9s. You maybe do a little bit of rounding and a bit of adding up the whole pounds and then taking off a penny and that kind of thing, which is great if you're doing that. It's brilliant. So anyway, the 9s, add those up, that's 27. Then 5 add 9 is 14. Add 8 makes 22. Add 2 makes 24. Then we've got 3 and 1 and 4, that makes 8. Add 2 is 10. And 1 and 1 is 2. So the meal comes to £20.47. So whenever you get a question like this in maths, the answer is never just yes or no. Okay? You can't just write that. You've got to explain. And you've got to say, no, because £20.47 is more than £20. So if you've got a question where the answer is going to be yes or no, you should be working something out and then you should be comparing the answer that you got to the number that they gave you in the question. So that should be part of your answer. Okay, so that's that one. And then last question today. I want to show you this one because there's one like it in the practice questions. It costs 80p for a child to swim. How much does it cost for a class of 27 to swim? So what we're needing to work out is 20... That's no good, is it? Let's try it with a pen instead of a highlighter. So what we're needing to work out is 27 times 80. Okay, now remember work that we've done previously. When we've done like multiplying by 10 and 100 and 1,000, we also included things like 30 and 80 and 200 and 9,000. So remember that 27 times 80 is 27 times, remember 80 is 8 times 10. Okay, so if we can work out 27 times 8, then we can multiply the answer then by 10, because multiplying by 10 is really easy, isn't it? So let's get this sorted. So 27 times 8. So 7 8s are 56. And 2 8s are 16. Add the 5, makes 21. So by the way, remember 7 8s are 56. Okay, that's a really important one. That's one that people who are not sure about the tables, that's often one that they struggle with. But let me let you into a little secret, and that is if Mr. Allen, the head teacher, visits your maths class, what he likes to do is pick somebody and say, what's 7 times 8? So if you just remember, if Mr. Allen asks you a question in maths, the answer's 56. He always has the same one. Okay, right, so anyway, 27 times 8 is 216. So we then want to multiply that by 10. So remember, moving all our digits one space to the left means that we've got a gap on the right-hand side there that we need to fill in with a 0. Okay, so 2,160. But hang on a minute, that sounds a bit odd to go swimming. So let's just go back to the question. It costs 80 pence for a child to swim. How much does it cost for a class of 27 to swim? So because this was 80 pence, then our answer is in pence, okay? But the person who's on reception at the swimming pool is not going to say, that will be 2,160 pence, please, are they? They're going to tell you how many pounds and pence it is. So we need to change it. And remember, because there's 100 pennies in a pound, we can divide this by 100. So 2,160 pence is £21 and 60 pence. And that makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? It just seemed a bit daft to be talking about thousands of pence. Okay, so that's actually our work finished for this week. I will put some practice questions up, and of course you'll have yesterday's solutions to check what you did after yesterday's lesson. So this is the process that we're going to keep going through each week. There'll be a lesson every day and some work for you to do. So remember, in a week normally you would have had 6 periods of maths that were 45 minutes each. So I'm keeping these lessons to between 20 and 30 minutes, and your practice will probably take 5 to 10 minutes each day. Okay, I don't mind if you want to save it up and do a couple of days at a time. That's up to you. But please make sure you are keeping up. You might find that some of the videos, you don't really need to watch them all the way through. You can fast forward bits. If you know what you're doing, just work, do it with your jotter at the side of you, work it out and check that you've got the same as me. Okay, so what's very important though is that if you're stuck, you let me know. Okay, so next week at some point, I'll probably give you a little questionnaire to ask you how you're getting on and see how you're finding these lessons. Okay, so have a good weekend, everybody, and I will see you on Monday. We're going to do some more money stuff next week. Okay, bye.